2.5 years ago, I had this horrible double whammy where I tore my knee tendon, broke this arm. And it's if you talk to people in like, especially like PTs, because PT, doctors fix you and then they're like, all right.
Yeah, bye.
But PTs work with people weeks, months, sometimes years. And so they're with these people every day, like somebody who has a horrible orthopedic injury, a car accident or whatever. And what they'll tell you is like that they find a lot of times that people that are in those situations have like these moments, almost very similar to like near death experiences where there's a shift in them where they kind of they're so vulnerable because when you have a severe orthopedic injury, you have no choice but to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
Like you can't stand, you can't move, you can't turn the lights off. You keep having to ask for these things. It's really humbling. It really strips you down. And people come out of that sometimes with a different point of view on the world. And that definitely happened to me. I mean, you're not even so much aware that it's happening as it's just happening.
Yeah.
You start to, that definitely contributed to my bandwidth expanding.
In what way?
Well, it's that I just was like, first of all, I was so emotional. Not like the moment I got injured, in like the days after where you realize how needy you are.
Did you just like cry?
Intensely, incredibly.
Amazing.
So much. So much. And you don't even know what you're crying about.
Yeah.
You're just like bawling about stuff, just down. And like,
yeah.
And so you feel that way and you're like, I don't even know what's happening. So just that moment of being like, I don't know what's happening makes you consider your life. And like, what am I doing? How am I living life? And if you're living like this, you go, I need to like stretch out a little more, or like, I'm not taking care of myself. What the fuck am I doing? Why am I not taking care of myself? It's so stupid. I'm in my 40s and I'm just like, like that, why am I not hanging out with people? I want to hang out. Like you start to actually feel that way. And you start like calling people and you start really opening up. You realize that it's good to open up and talk to people and share things. And people contribute to it. Like sometimes it's friends and family. It's also strangers. Like you have this capacity and like almost this desire to connect with like new people right away. You start like telling people.
You become like the person on the plane who's like,
yes.
Where are you from?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh dude. And they're like, I'm good. And you're like, yeah. I've been to Kansas City. What's your favorite place?
They still got that barbecue place.
Which one? Arthur Bryant's? So you just want to like, I think what you ultimately really realize in those situations is like, there's nothing like connection, human connection and bonding. You bond, first of all, when you're in those really vulnerable situations, you develop this like such an affection for medical staff. Like you're the fucking best, man. And you, and that feeling like carries out of the medical facilities. You start wanting to, because you connect drivers, so much with the person that was helping you.
Yeah, like you couldn't move. You couldn't do anything.
Yeah,
and they didn't leave you for dead.
And they that's their job, but they are,
the reason they want the job is because they're inclined.
They love those moments too.
Yeah.
They love those moments.
Yeah.
And so you're just like, I mean, I still talk to my PT. We text all the time. I haven't seen her in like a year. We text all the time. Love you. I mean, I text her, I love you, yeah, it's like, and that bond and that connection carries into like
Christine doesn't know about that, right?
Don't bring it up.
Yeah. I'll cut it out if you want.
Yeah, thanks. It's just, but I mean, no, she's come and like hung out with our kids and our family.
Amazing.
It's amazing. You just realize that like, I don't know, if you were kind of like this person and then you have those experiences, it really does start to bleed into every aspect of your life. Like wanting to expand your emotional bandwidth, wanting to change, realizing that you weren't leading the life that you could be leading.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, if I was going to say something to you, I'd just say like, get hit by a car and see how it changes you.
I said on here like a month ago, the only thing that makes people change is almost dying. And
it's true.
I said that to Rock one time, and he's like, which everyone or a 12-step program, and Rock was like, everyone in a 12-step program almost died.
Everyone, yeah.
They're there because they almost drank, sex, and gambled themselves to death. And only then can you go like, oh, So people, huh?
Yeah. And that's what
The
you
most
realize.
basic fucking idea was right after all.
And you don't have the ability to like see
you're
it
right. It's
without
the
it.
same thing where it's like a 20-year-old can't.
You can't.
Yeah.
You can't. I mean, here's the thing. If you do, you're an anomaly. You're just
Yeah.
one of the lucky ones, I guess.
Yeah.
But most of us don't just have that realization.
Yeah, and it can change. It changed your overall disposition 20%, 30%.
Yeah, it really shifted. I have a notable shift, like that I think people, if you're me, obviously you feel it and you know it. People that are very close to me all address it, all say it, that like it's affected all the other blocks too. It's like I'm better at saying what I want, saying what I like, giving my opinion on something. I am more confident. Why am I more confident? Because I've just grounded myself more in who I am, because I'm allowing myself to feel more and say what I think and feel and not being scared. I think before I would stay here and be like, well, if I say this, what if Neal doesn't like me? And I would just stay in that. And like anything is you get better at with practice. I practice it more. I'm just more comfortable at saying what I really want to say because I practice it.
I had a thing in therapy recently where, the way we grew up, similar enough that we were both sort of like, you can't really have needs, right? So I was in therapy talking about needs, and I did like a reenactment and a lot of mustaches and pipes and stuff. Doing a reenact, just do EMDR where I'm going through a scenario with my dad, and I'm basically saying like, my needs are okay. My needs are okay. And then it evolved into my needs are great. And I don't mean that like in an egotistical way. I mean it like when you're hungry, my needs are basically like an emotional appetite. Like I'm hungry, right? And when you're hungry and you're in a big city, you're like, this is exciting. We can get great food.
Yeah.
So my needs are just like an appetite. I'm hungry to get my needs met. So you go to places you can get your needs met, and you're not going to get them met unless you ask for them.
That's very
true. At all. But the idea of seeing them as like natural and nothing I need to deny.
Yeah.
Is like, was huge, like a huge shift in thinking, and like, oh, I'm looking forward to saying, hey, that hurt my feelings. Or just like, hey, I'd like more coffee, or like getting my needs, asking for my needs is like saying I'm hungry.
That's a really good one.
Yeah.
And that's it literally applies to everyone on earth.
Yes.
Is entitled to
get their needs met within reason.
And within reason. And the thing that applies to everyone is that none of them will be addressed if you don't say them. Nobody can read your mind. Nobody.
Your best friend.
Yeah, can't.
Yeah.
And the thing is that everything you're saying, before you do it, it actually, I don't think I can say, it is terrifying. You are terrified to do it.
Yeah.
It's very scary to go, I'm going to say what I need here. But once you do it, you realize it's way less scary than you thought. And then you're like, this actually feels great.
Yes. And people are grateful that you're not relying on them to read your mind. People are like, oh, you do? Okay, great. Yeah. It's like,
I also I got so much better at like, hey, this isn't working. Like I've fired so many people, not so many, but like in the last couple of years, I've just been like, yeah, this isn't. No. Yeah. I used to be like, oh, what?
Yeah, like, I don't know. Give it a year and a half, and now you just go like, no, doesn't work.
This isn't good.
And it's not good for them either.
Exactly. You're doing both of you a favor.
Yeah, like I've said it with writing partners and women I've dated where I'm like, it's just not. Yeah. It's not. It should be close to like magic.
Yeah.
Or at least like, where not easy, but like relatively easy. Like dry erase board.
Yeah. This shouldn't be like a real struggle to do this.
Where you're worried and I'm worried. And
in work relationships too, it's like, fuck, man, this is shit's way too short to deal with that. Like if we're not clicking on this, and we're like doing passes and you're like, I get anxiety to actually talk to you, or like you suggest something and I'm like, oh my, that's not fun. Yeah. Like, let's try to have fun when we're doing this. So let's just not do this. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, we don't have to do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, okay, goodbye. Yeah. And it's like, you won't think about it again because you didn't think about them before.
Right. Yeah. So much better.
But it is the discount. It's the fear of ask. It's like being at a restaurant and being afraid to order.
Yeah.
Like it's the menu.
So true.
It's like,
Yeah.
can I have this steak? Maybe that's what, I mean, it's the hacky premise of women not being able to order, but maybe that's part of it.
Right. That thing too is like, I've had conversations too where you're like, you're so afraid to bring this up. You're like, this is just, I don't know how this is going to, and then you have the conversation. You bring up whatever you're scared of or your insecurity or how something made you feel. 100% of the time, it's been better.
It's the only way to make it better.
Yeah, it's the only way.
Is to acknowledge the truth of a situation, and then you just like the person more. Yeah. It's completely.
It really works. It really works.
No, and even if it's shitty.
Yeah.
Even if it's a shitty thing and you stop working together, being friends or whatever, you understand each other. Yeah. And you're like, I fuck with that person even though I don't fuck with them. You know what I mean? I fuck with them like if they needed me, I'd be there for them. It's true. Because they respected me enough to acknowledge to just not insult my intelligence with a lie about a situation. Like we both know what it is. We're both perceptive. Yes. Everyone's perceptive. Yeah. Everyone can tell what's happening most of the time. Like, yeah, everyone can read. At human energy, it's like we're all attuned. It's like when people go, "Can you tell I had surgery?" It's all I can tell. As a human being, we're scanning everything all the time.
Whole fucking face changed.
Yeah, man. You think I wouldn't notice?
Yeah.
That's great, man. And did you? So in some ways, you're happy that you fucked up.
It's the worst thing, and best thing that happened to me. I would never. Like, it really does suck. It really is terrible. I would never really wish that on someone, and I would not want to experience that again. And I definitely have PTSD from it and all that. But
will you describe the PTSD as you understand it?
Well, what happens is, for me, it's like it happened during this physical act, right?
Right.
And it was spontaneous. I mean, it's a really like out of nowhere thing. And so what happens is, like, when the thing that happens to you is that dramatic and that traumatizing, there's no escaping your mind going, that can happen again. And sometimes, I mean, one of the things that I've done is I try to really do a lot of physical things. Like, because I don't.
Relatively dangerous or just like push-ups?
No, I mean, like, I just, I'll still, like, I work out a lot. Like, I was boxing today and I had to put this wrap on my arm because I have nerve pain from it. And so it allows me to still punch. I still feel this pain. I'm doing it.
Shooting, vague.
What's that?
Shooting pain or like a vague, like.
No, like there's certain contact where it just, it goes up and down the arm. Numbness, in the hand, things like that. The arm pain can be pretty painful, but I do it because I don't want to, like, not do things that would keep me, to scare me away from doing anything physical. So
and it's also one of those things, the less you do it, then you'll just get more scared of it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I do that. I mean, I do that. I played basketball again. I lift weights. I do things like that. I do some things like, whatever, I'll get in the water, I'm paddle boarding, I'm in the ocean, I'm doing like flying, race car drive, like things like that are more dangerous. But I'm not doing them because they're dangerous. I'm just like, I want to do this and I don't want to be scared to do things. Yeah. But like, honestly, I'll see whatever, you're walking on a platform, and you see a big drop. I mean, some of the emotion that you'll feel from that can be like, well, the one that's probably the craziest is a slippery floor, because my knee popped first. So when I am on like a floor that like is just, kind of like slidey, kind of oily or something, wet, you feel this like jolt of panic that I know, like, no one, everyone else is like, oh, be careful there. But like, for me, it's like almost, it can be paralyzing for a moment, Yeah. Yeah. Cause I'll just be like, holy shit. Like
does like the 20% crying thing happen where you like feel like you're pre-crying?
It's such like a shell shock feeling. It's a moment of panic. It's like actually genuine panic, where it's almost like the crying any feeling like that would come after, because you're so caught up in the fact that like
sort of fight or flight.
Yeah, like a fight or flight thing. Yeah. And then afterwards, you feel the emotion of like, fuck, I got really scared right then. I got like, really scared.
You should have like, you can afford like at basketball games where they have little kids. They're not even little kids. They're like young adults.
I mean, I was playing this game where we were at these public courts, indoor courts, that it was just like a shit floor. And everybody was sliding. Everyone was like, this floor sucks. And I was like, I stopped like playing defense. I was like, you could just drive on me, dog. Like, I'm not, I was like, you know what I mean? Like, it was too.
If I were you, I think I would have just not played. After the people were sliding, I would have been like, it's not fun.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. It actually,
especially
it took
great needs, Neal.
Yeah. It took a lot of the fun out of it that day. I remember that. And I was like, and that's when these guys beat us, I wanted to be like, bitch, you and the floor beat us. Like it wasn't you. Don't think your game is all that.
It's a tie. So, you and the floor split a tie.
Yeah.
All right. Now the final question is, well, one of the questions is the things that helped you to grow in these, to try to get over your blocks. It's therapy?
Yeah.
Near death?
Yeah. You should definitely break your body in half. Yeah. And get the Delta variant while you're in the hospital. That helps too.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And did you, and hallucinogen, anything else that's helped you grow?
So I ended up doing that. I've done it twice now. Once I did it like supervised in a private setting.
That was the ayahuasca one?
Yeah. And that was like, they gave me Kana, which is
I've never heard of that.
I think it's an African drug. A huge serotonin dump.
Great.
They call it the love drug.
Yeah.
Like
a heart opener.
In those circles. Yeah. I mean, that was just like great, because my big panic, and I know I probably sound like so naive to someone because I am, where I was like, I don't want to have a panic attack, dude. I kept saying that I was like, I don't want to feel like I ate a fucking 100 milligram edible.
Yeah.
And he was like, you won't. I go, yeah, but people say that, and they give you some shit, and you're like, and they're like, oh, my bad.
Yeah.
I kept saying, he was like, you're definitely not going. And he was right. But the feelings were, it was incredible. I mean, I was like really letting go. I was talking to myself, and I made recordings of me talking to myself. There was music playing. It was a great setting. And then what I did the next day was I listened to those recordings. And
were you could make sense of them?
I could make sense of them. I just was like, I was very loving to myself and to others, and like talking about life and relationships. And God, I was also like a short while after, I was like, I need to erase these, So it was like too embarrassing,
If your friends from high school hear them, they're gonna beat the shit out of you. Yeah.
Fuck, man. But
that's what I mean, my experience with ayahuasca, especially, I didn't talk about it ad nauseum, but it's like a love infection.
Yes.
Where it's just like, you almost can't be petty.
I couldn't have been more loving and more selfless. I was actually like really, really selfless
and empathetic.
Yes,
everyone's just doing their best.
Everyone is, and I saw that clearly. Dad, mom, siblings, friends, like everybody's doing. And I was just like really in that, and I mean, I couldn't rave about it enough. I mean, I was telling everybody. I was trying to like hook people up with it.
I called you after I did. I was like, you fucking I'm telling you.
Yeah, no, it's a good one, man.
Yeah,
it's a good one. Yeah.
And then what? You did that once or twice?
So I did it once, like supervised, like where it's really organized. And I would say a pared down version on my own. It was still good, like not bad. But the supervised version was the best. I would love to do it again.
Did they give you some? They guided you?
This was like a totally different, separate thing. I mean, therapy is the best. I can't. Some friends, I'm like, you still haven't, especially the ones who you're like, you would love, like,
Yeah, it's interesting.
What are you doing? It's a guide for how your mind works. Mm-hmm. I think there's still people that are like, but I'm not all fucked up.
Yeah. It's like, it's not even.
That's not what we're doing here.
Yeah.
Like,
it can just be like a spelunking, like a cave.
Would you like
through realizing like, oh, I'm like, okay,
you're
that's
in a national park
that.
And someone's like, hey, I've been here a while. You want me to show you around? You're like, yeah, all right, cool.
No, I'm not gay.
Yeah, I got a tent. I can put this shit up myself. And you're like, okay. Yeah, I'm blown away by people that are like talking about these things, but they're like, I don't want anyone to help me out. I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
So yeah. And then things like this, like honestly, just conversations.
Yeah.
Where you talk to people who are also open and empathetic and like, you know, like in it also and like, and like this kind of thing.
Yeah.
That only helps
People
you.
wouldn't believe you like it. I don't think. Like, you don't seem like you would like it.
I see that. I get that. Yeah. I get that. I mean,
you're a rascal in your act.
I kind of a little rascal. Yeah. Yeah.
Your act is rascally. So it's true. Like, and your laugh is very fun too. You have a fun rascal laugh.
That's true. That's true. I am a bit of a menace sometimes.
Bordering on, yeah. It's a rascal bordering on menace.
Yeah.
Hey, did you like that? Did you like that? Yeah, did you like it though? You want more? Don't want to work? Would rather watch videos of me grab assing with people? First of all, go up here to subscribe, and then go up here to watch more clips. This is like when the weatherman says that there's a high pressure system coming in. I'm not really used to the green screen.